You don't want to miss any of these games. These are the most successful trainers from the Indianapolis Regional, and we are here in the winners finals. IomeroO versus Trentszcz, and like you were mentioning before, I think IomeroO is coming every game. I also think Alolan Ninetales is coming every game, as it looks like we do have a lock-in for game number 1. And once again, just like the King Ivy matchup, it's Ice type versus Ice type. It's Walrein versus the Alolan Ninetales.
Walrein hitting the field for IomeroO, Alolan Ninetales on the opposing side. As we take a peek at these back lines, I think that Trevenant could be key in the latter half of this matchup. But let's see, Walrein going for the charge attack here, and an instant shield from Trent.
Yeah, Trevenant is looking amazing in the back, and good shield call by Trent, protecting that Alolan Ninetales, knowing that it's such a good key to victory, saving health on it, and throwing the side shock into this IomeroO.
Like you mentioned, the utility of IomeroO, the neutral matchups, its ability to hang tough in these matchups against Pokemon like Alolan Ninetales makes it so valuable, sending it out here because the charm damage is just so oppressive. You have to find a way to manage your HP points.
And this is going to be so close. This play rough is really looking for a knockout. This IomeroO does not want to take any more charm damage, and it barely survives, and swap into the Swampert here.
This is a calculation, bringing in the Swampert. You have to assume this is the best possible position for the water and ground type Pokemon to be, but IomeroO is going to strike first.
But even though IomeroO is low health, it's so hard to take it out because it resists those Hydro Cannons. So the IomeroO forces the play rough. Now this Swampert has to decide if it wants to go do a Hydro Cannon farm down or throw the Earthquake Energy, and it's going for that Hydro Cannon.
Wow, Hydro Cannon coming through here. This is resisted damage like my co-caster just pointed out, but will it be enough?
Not quite, but you could get these mud shots down. You just need a couple more, and Swap did not want to get farmed down. Swapped into Trevenant, trying to soak all of this energy.
We've been talking about this all day. This is technically a losing matchup for that water and ground type Swampert. However, these Hydro Cannons do hit so hard, especially with the Shadow variant.
The problem is this Trevenant is the key to victory versus the backline. You have to keep it healthy. You have to protect it. You have to use a Protect Shield. Finally, a Protect Shield by IomeroO, and going for the Shadow Claw down against this Swampert, and it gets it.
Both trainers exhibiting expert energy management. We see that Alolan Ninetales very weak on the right side for Trent, but Medicham fully healthy. If it comes in, it comes into a very negative matchup.
And it throws the Weather Ball straight away to pressure this Trevenant. This Trevenant has the Protect Shield. Now this Trevenant is looking to get some extra energy because it's going to want to land 2 Shadow Balls onto the Medicham. And Ninetales stays in. No, late swap. It needs to get the 2 Shadow Balls. This is the first one.
This is the instant swap, and a blind Shadow Ball, no shield. Medicham's going to take this full force.
This is super effective. Bang! Does so much damage. Going for the Shadow Claw down. Going for one more Shadow Claw. Takes down the Medicham.
Medicham faints off the field, and Alolan Ninetales is shortly behind it. IomeroO commanding game 1.
Wow, and you see that adjustment there, right? We were talking about earlier where a similar team where King Ivy was bringing the Sableye. Now we see IomeroO bringing the Trevenant, keeping the Trevenant in the back, investing in it. Although it took some energy from the Swampert, it was enough to get a momentum rolling, to get Shadow Claws down, get to the Shadow Ball, and the no shield by the Medicham.
It's all about adjustments. You have 2 Ghost-type Pokemon at your disposal. I think Sableye has been a personal favorite of mine because of its flexibility. You can bring it into almost any matchup, but when you are faced with a team like Trentszcz, with the Alolan Ninetales, with the Umbreon, there's so many obstacles to seeing Sableye succeed. Maybe you bring in a more neutral Ghost-type Pokemon like the Trevenant.
Yeah, and a key thing here is also you saw Trent bring the Alolan Ninetales and the 2 things that counter Registeel. And you see IomeroO not even bringing the Registeel, knowing that Trent is expecting that Registeel because Alolan Ninetales has so many good matchups. IomeroO decided to just sit it, not even bring it, so did not have that weakness in the back, and instead of a weakness in the back, had the strength with the Trevenant.
Exactly right. These Pokemon stand out. When you see a unique Pokemon on your opponent's team, or a Pokemon that is just really, really powerful, the Umbreon for Trent, the Registeel for IomeroO, it kind of sends out this flag. Not quite a checkered flag you might see at a racetrack in Indianapolis, but it does send out a flag, and it tells your opponent, this is what I have on my team, this is the potential, and either you confront it or you try to find other ways around it.
Yeah, and it's a bold strategy to go into that game 1 without Registeel, right? Because you know the Alolan Ninetales was coming, and it was there, and you had kind of a negative matchup with the Walrein into the Alolan Ninetales. So now does IomeroO completely switch it up and try to go for that Registeel, knowing that maybe Trent is just playing the odds, knowing that that Registeel is going to be coming? It is a toss-up.
This is a stylistic choice. Like we mentioned, you can try to hard counter a Pokemon. Registeel versus the Alola Ninetales is really abysmal for that Fairy and Ice-type Pokemon. Or you can try to play with finesse, with fluidity, with neutral damage, like we saw IomeroO do. Does that mean that Trent takes that knowledge into Game 2 and calculates that IomeroO will play the same way?
And one other interesting thing is that Trent has the Umbreon, right? And that's the best answer for IomeroO's Trevenant, but you might be scared to bring the Umbreon, Alolan Ninetale Core against the Registeel, because it's two things that lose to Registeel. So how will Trent adapt to this Trevenant that took out his entire back line?
One of our trainers is already locked in and prepared, and we are sliding over for game number 2, a dominant lead for one trainer.
My goodness, the Sableye into the Medicham, instant swap into Trevenant, and it's met by Walrein here, but this Trevenant does have an energy advantage.
Old foes, old friends. Usually we see these two Pokemon paired together on a team, but now they are facing off. We have to give the slight edge to Walrein, able to dish out those Icicle Spears just a slight second faster.
Yeah, it's just pressuring more and more with that Powder Snow as well, doing super effective damage instead of the neutral Shadow Claws. And the Trevenant actually just lets it go and sacrifices the tree.
Recognizing the matchups and the alignment is really poor. Trent is trying to play with energy instead. He's trying to find an advantage as he feels at his opponent in the opening moments of Game 2.
And Medicham might look graceful, but this is a tough farm down. You have to be able to counter this Walrein down or commit Psychic Energy, and you're just taking Icicle Spear after Icicle Spear.
Medicham really pounding with the counters there on the Walrein, but still some red HP. And look at that! Medicham is going to escape this matchup, but it's way deep into the red.
And it has a ton of energy, but will that energy go anywhere? And we do see the adjustment. We do see the Umbreon, but we see IomeroO with the Registeel in the back, and we see a swap, and we see a counter swap. It's the Registeel against the Umbreon now.
Anticipating that alignment, reaching for that switch, gets it, but not into a positive position as the Registeel is bearing down on the Dark type.
There are 2 Protect Shields remaining for Trent, so it's possible that this Umbreon can get through this matchup because you can just Protect Shield everything and get back to your timer and maybe make some combo plays here. But this is a tough uphill battle versus this Steel.
Now we see the Registeel long game in mind. IomeroO opts for the Zap Cannon, wants to slow down the Umbreon a bit and not let it damage too much of the Registeel's HP.
And I like this decision. You need 2 charge moves to knock out an Umbreon anyway, so you might as well go for the Zap Cannon. Even though Focus Blast is super effective, you need to land 2 moves anyway, so might as well debuff your opponent.
And the Umbreon continues to deploy these foul plays, but as we can see, not really doing too much damage. It looks like another move coming through here from the Registeel, another Zap Cannon.
Yeah, Zap Cannon is going to be Protect Shielded by this Umbreon, and was this charge move priority event, Registeel rarely wins charge move priority, but it happens here today.
Umbreon, not known for its attack, but rather its bulk and defense, goes second in that exchange, and we are going to see the Umbreon continue to build energy, considering the switch out coming in with the Medicham.
And there is that combo move, and that's something that you can do to try to get yourself back in the game, but this is still resisted, and Registeel has health. It's so close to a move, and swaps out, and takes this Ice Punch on the Sableye.
IomeroO really trying to make the best of the situation here. We do see the Ice Punch come through. Medicham is switch locked, so will be Shadow Clawed all the way through. 2 Shadow Claws will do the trick.
And if you see Umbreon, this is in return range, and return is being thrown. This is a huge shield call by Trent, and calls it.
Trent playing it safe, using that final Protect Shield, recognizing that that return will deal a significant amount of damage. Here comes Umbreon, though, striking back with a foul play.
And IomeroO, knowing Sableye can take a foul play, no problem, decides to let it go. Needs to get back up to that return energy or throw the Focus Blast that the Registeel is quite close to.
Oh my goodness, Umbreon is at two charge attacks. It's got both of them here. There's only 1 Protect Shield for IomeroO. This is a critical last moment decision.
Yes, do you protect the Sableye and try to go to return? Oh no! This Umbreon can back-to-back here before the return. Does it go for it? And it does! It goes for the back-to-back here to knock out the Sableye, but there is some health. There is energy on that Registeel in the back.
And Registeel do enough to close this matchup out, reaching for the Focus Blast. Registeel gets there!
It needed to survive the Sorrows. It did! It's gonna get to this Focus Blast. It is gonna knock out this Umbreon to take it 2-0.
IomeroO sneaking past Trent's Umbreon. I know Dark types are known for being devious and mischievous, but IomeroO sneaking away with the victory there.
Wow. really precise gameplay there by IomeroO, calling the back line in game number 1, bringing that Trevenant into the Medicham Swampert core in the back, and then calling the Medicham lead in game number 2 with the Sableye. Fantastic play by IomeroO, fantastic strategy, fantastic team reading.
I will remind the chat again, normally these trainers would stand up, shake hands, log out of those devices, and head home or to the next opponent. However, we are in the best of 5 stage. IomeroO still needs 1 game to close this out, and Trent needs to win 3 straight.
Right, yeah, the series is still not over yet. Trent can still come back. Got a lot of information from the first 2 games. How will Trent learn from that and adapt and try to change the formula to try to make a comeback here?
Absolutely. What is that recipe for success? What is the alignment? What is the right combination of Pokemon? A lot of pressure has come off of IomeroO's shoulder. He can afford to lose a battle here, maybe even lose 2 battles if he wants to make it close and exciting in a best of 5.
Yeah, can play a little loose and fast is being played because there's already a lock-in here, and it's already another good lead from IomeroO. It's the Trevenant into the Medicham. Once again, Say Swap Trevenant, once again met by the wall rain.
Absolutely. Old friends, old foes appear yet again on the screen in Game 3. This will be a decisive matchup if IomeroO can achieve victory.
It's possible Trent got 3 Shadow Claws ahead on energy advantage on that swap in. I don't know if Trent's going to play this energy differently, but here comes the Icicle Sphere last time, and it is a different strategy here in game number 3.
And previously letting that Trevenant absorb the Icicle Spear and playing with energy, this time opting to force the CMP to tie, and it looks like the Trevenant will go first.
Was able to get enough Shadow Claws to get to the second Seed Bomb before the second Icicle Spear of the Wall Rain, and letting that go, knowing the Wall Rain can take that damage. Now there's a decision made by Trent, and that decision is to protect shield the Trevenant and go for the Shadow Claw down.
Recognizing the fast move intervals, knowing that the Shadow Claws can claw all the way through the Walrus before the Spear, and he gets there.
Wow, that was close, a little bit playing on the edge here for the Trevenant, but the Trevenant does want alignment, needs to get to the Seed Bomb before it faints, barely holds on. This is resisted. We're gonna see the counting by IomeroO and lets it go.
What a no shield call, absorbing that not very effective Seed Bomb and standing strong, awaiting the next opponent, and it's Medicham. Oh my goodness, this doesn't look easy for Trent.
Yeah, once again, it's a Medicham Swampert backline facing this Trevenant, and this Trevenant is gonna be able to unleash on it, and it's gonna be able to land this Shadow Ball!
Another Shadow Ball in a Medicham. Here comes the Swampert, and my goodness, I don't think Swampert will be on the stage for very long. Here comes the Seed Bomb.
Get the broom out. This is a sweep for Trevenant here on this back line. That Swampert is gone.
Trevenant standing strong, and so does IomeroO. A commanding 3-0 victory here in the winners finals.
Wow, and you see the adjustment. We saw a very similar team from IomeroO and King IV. Maybe learning King went first and got to play Trent first. Maybe seeing what he could do better with almost the same exact team, if not the same exact team, and making those adjustments, making all the right team calls and winning it 3-0.
Trainers, get out your notebooks, get out your pens and paper. Take notes on how these trainers play these teams. I mean, it's been a showcase at every twist and turn of this tournament. I mean, you would say in Indianapolis, lots of left turns, right? If I may.
Yeah.
But very impressive plays regardless. These trainers have done so well.